Hey, this is Scott Jones coming to you with more information. Today is the third installment of my series on planetary correspondences or magic correspondences 101. Today we're going to get into the planet Mars. And when you think about Mars, I want you to keep a few things in mind. Energy, self-assertion, force, strength, fortitude. And of course, there's other things, and we'll get into it. Mars is about fire, action, going to battle, fighting for what you believe in, self-defense, courage. You're not going to do me like that. I'm going to take the fight to you. In the human kingdom and human experience, we all know about Mars. When you get mad and you want to fight, or when somebody comes to you and try to fight you, and just your instincts kick in. You just start swinging or kicking. Or you want something and it's being denied to you. And you assert yourself. You say, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to have it. I'm going to have it now. And you assert yourself through some type of bodily movement, knocking aside obstacles. You know, we're all familiar with Martian energy. And of course, Mars also corresponds to war and literal war. Armies, navies, Air Force, Marines, people battling on the battlefield, taking territory. Mars also is about the organization of forces, whether they be military forces, or whether they be forces in business. But you're probably more familiar with this symbol, the organization of a sports team. Think of a football team and think of their coach. He's getting them ready for the game. The game requires stamina, speed, strength, self-confidence, taking it to the other team. And he's getting them ready. He's toughening them up, the conditioning their muscles, their bodies, their minds, so that when they get out there, they don't have to think about what they need to do. Their training will take over and their force and their will. That all corresponds to Mars. So if you're a magician and you're just trying to get energy, or force, or even a fighting force to attack your opponent, if you feel like you're being attacked, or if you just want to attack them. I mean, I hate to say that. It's up to the magician and his own morals. But one thing that Mars applies to both the evil magician and the good magician is energy. The harnessing of energy or force put at the service of the magician. And in Greek mythology, you get into Arei, A-R-E-I. That's the Greek word for Mars. And in Latin, it's Marti, M-A-R-T-I. That's where we get the word, the name Martin. And Mars is a Greek god who is about action. He's about fighting. His symbols are the chain, to hold something fast where it can't escape, the spear, to focus his attack, throw his spear and pin what he wants to the ground, the shield, to protect himself. And often you see Mars portrayed as a man with a helmet, shield, spear, and he's naked. Well, the reason he's naked because one of the words, the word for naked in Greek is gymnazo. It's where we get the word gymnasium. But it's also the word for training. So when you see that statue of Mars, it shows you that Mars corresponds to you training or practicing for something that's going to be intense, that requires strength, will, and focus. On the human level, it corresponds to the prostate gland of man. And all men, you're familiar with your prostate gland. It has a lot to do with your sexual vigor and your sexual passions. And Mars has a lot to do with that in men and women. Men and women, can you ever relate to you see someone sexually and you really want to get with them and they stirring you a passion and you say, I'm going after that? Well, that's the Mars working in you. Another thing that Mars corresponds to is the spear on the tree of life, known as Goborhe. You also may know it as Fakahad or Din, D-I-N. And when I talk about the tree of life, we get into the Kabbalah. But to get to the point, the fifth spear on the tree of life corresponds to Mars, and it corresponds to universal law. And let me explain what I'm talking about. In this universe, there is the law of the individual, your freedom, what you want to do. And then there is the law of the universe, what you can and can't do, no matter what. The fifth sephira, or the fifth spear on the tree of life, is about that universal law. We know that you want to do this, but you can't do it. And if you do it, you have to do it like this. If you don't, there will be consequences. Mars is about that. And getting right into that, the fifth spear of the tree of life corresponds to the angels known as the Elohim. And the Elohim are angels that correspond to Mars. And they are about maintaining that universal law. But they also have this quality. Whenever there's a miracle or something that seems supernatural, whenever a person shows qualities that seem, once again, supernatural, you say, how can they take that? How can they survive that? What is it in them that can overcome such a situation? How do they have such discipline? That is because they are under the influence or being helped by the Elohim, who strengthen virtues in man, where you can overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. Whenever you see a person, you be like, man, their strength of character, their physical, spiritual, and discipline of soul is strong and is holy. Then you see the Elohim in the fifth spear of the tree of life, which corresponds to Mars at work. Another thing that Mars corresponds to is discord, strife, destruction. For you can't sugarcoat it. Mars has a very destructive side. And whenever you want to break something down or destroy it magically, the force of Mars is something you need to invoke and deal with. Mars also corresponds to the metal iron. And just like iron is very tough, very strong, forged by fire, Mars has a lot to do with the things that we have as a result of trial, as a result of fighting, lessons gained in combat, in war. Mars also corresponds to the second chakra, the Siva Dihistana chakra. And you might want to research that. One thing is to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. But it's the chakra that's in between your belly button and your genitalia. And it has a lot to do with the unity of the spirit, our ideas, our souls, which are our passions, our inclinations, and our body, which is our senses. And Mars is about getting all three of them things in unity so we can exert force on something. If you are a magician and you feel like you're being attacked and you feel like you need help, or you need help in terms of somebody teaching you strategy or a way to fight, Mars is something that you should invoke and call forth. The holy name of Mars is Elohim Goborhe, Elohim Goborhe, and is all of the Martian force but directed for holy means. Well, I can say this also. When you deal with Mars, be careful, because it is a force that can destroy. It is a force that can strengthen. And you have to be careful with it, because one thing about Mars, when you set it loose, it will attack. Well, we'll get more into other planets soon. We'll get deeper into Mars and how you can use it. And I think our next video will be about old Jupiter. We'll see what's going on with that. Well, this is Scott Jones. I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you.